ChatGPT and LLMs, they're that super smart friend. And that's the easiest way to understand. And the way it works from a logic perspective, now let's take it one step further, is how did your friend learn all that? He was fed all that information. He was feeding himself all that information for year on year.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the developers behind OpenAI did.
Yes.
When I learned how Dall-E or Midjourney works, it blew my mind. Basically, it's the same thing that I just explained, which is large language model, and it's the same foundation, but hundreds of thousands of tagged images or millions or billions of tagged images with, like, let's say you're looking at an image of this logo. There's several elements in this image. There's a gray background on the wall. There's a yellow neon light. There are leaves that are green. All these things are tagged in the image metadata. So when you're feeding it into the computer, and we're talking about billions of images, the computer now knows what a green leaf looks like.
Right.
Yeah, venture hustles, life is really what you make it. Building up your brand is whatever you create it. Really ain't no limit. You just gotta love it. Working day and night, it's all about the venture hustle. Hey, venture hustles. Time to take it to the next level. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Venture Hustles podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Saj, and I've got my other co-host, Jack, with me. This podcast is about startups, entrepreneurships, ventures, businesses, anybody in that realm looking for any sort of insight from two people that are in that space actively, doing it day in, day out. And,
all day, every day.
Welcome to our diary.
Welcome to our diary. That has a little bit of a
kick to it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Like
a little bit of a kick.
A little bit of kick, So
tell the people. No, you got this. Tell the people what we're going to be talking about today. It's a topic that we've all heard about.
We are a little late to the game. I'm sure countless other podcasts and different outlets have already talked about it. You cannot avoid it. It's everywhere. Every news outlet, every social media platform. We are talking about the ChatGPT phenomenon, the AI evolution, its impact in our world since its emergence.
Yeah, and I think our goal here will be obviously covering some of the basics, but also being able to provide maybe some unique perspective just because we work like legitimately directly with the tech, the technology itself.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of insight that maybe some others that you've listened to may not have. So
absolutely,
so something to say about that. Where, hands are getting dirty.
The thing is, we're not just bystanders in the scene. We are active collaborators in the scene.
Yeah.
We work with customers and clients that have to do with AI. We build custom AI stuff. So, this is the world we live and breathe in. And also, a lot of times it might sound like, we're hyping on the hype train. We're jumping on the hype train, and sometimes we are. But the reality is, but the main purpose behind it is really to stay ahead of it and not get left behind. You have to be able to evolve with times. And that's what we're doing. And then being a technology company and heads of technology company, our job is to
stay ahead and
study, analyze trends and make sure that we can contribute however we can. So we're not left behind and we're not the ones saying, what if?
Yeah. So it's not really just about like the rise of AI, but what is it? Maybe some of the more popular platforms that you may or may not heard of. What?
Oh, no, I just thought my sip was a little too crisp in this mic.
Some of the platforms you may or may not heard of, how can be useful for you? Discuss, is this good or bad, which will be an interesting topic. And then start to talk about predictions, what we expect to see, in the next 6 to 12, 18 months, and then maybe even beyond that, which I think will start to get super interesting. So I'm looking forward to the conversation, my friend.
I'm excited, man. I'm super passionate about this space. We launched our own AI company and app in January. We started developing it in January, right after the mainstream emergence. And then we launched in February. And now we are here and we are actually launching several other AI products now.
Yeah.
So, and we're also dealing with customers and clients that want to build
do some similar stuff some really cool things too. The application of AI, there's really no limitation. So
why don't you tell us, or
go ahead.
can you share a little bit about why we're here, man. How did this happen?
Yeah, I mean, well, to kind of put some context here, obviously AI has been in development for many, many years. And if you're with us in season 1, we had an episode dedicated to Lambda,
which is Google's AI core base.
Yep.
And I think it's LAMBDA for
Correct.
anybody that wants to look it up.
And that was a cool conversation, a little bit on the wearier side because they kind of shut it down a little bit, and then the engineer got fired, so on and so forth. So where are we now? Well, there's a company named OpenAI that released ChatGPT.
OpenAI was founded in December 2015.
For context. And originally, for those that may know this, Elon Musk was a part of the board initially. And then also Sam Altman, who is now the CEO of OpenAI, was also on the board at one point as well. Elon was also in a place where he had invested a lot of money into OpenAI. From the reports and research, about $100 million.
I mean, honestly, like as much as I love Elon, and I know we both Elon, I don't want to give him too much credit for this. No. I also don't, because in reality, he wasn't the innovator behind this. And I mean, the same thing with Tesla. He was just a really good person to be able to run and drive that vision.
100%. And
he actually abandoned the OpenAI for whatever reason.
Well, based on, now there is there's some people saying that he abandoned it because he didn't like the way it was going and all these different things. But what also seems to be, so he joined in 2015, right? And then he left 2018. And back then his mantra was because he was developing some AI mechanics for Tesla, and it was a conflict of interest. Now, is that true? I would imagine so. But I think as OpenAI really started to take off, right?
How much did Elon invest?
About $100 million.
Okay.
So obviously a pretty sizable investment. But again, now we're in a place where there's been talks of Elon saying, well, it's not controlled well, and he doesn't like the direction, whatever the case may be. That's kind of the backstory. Founded in 2015, ChatGPT released in end of November in 2022 last year, and now that it's taken over the world.
Yeah, really. I mean, everywhere people are using ChatGPT, jailbreaking it, finding out different backdoor solutions. Yeah. I mean, think about the lifespan here, guys. It hasn't even been 6 months. I mean, we're approaching 6 months, but it hasn't even been 6 months. What's really crazy metrics wise, and I don't know if our producer James here can help us with some of these metrics, but it would be really, really cool for us to find out. I know I've read it, and I'm sure you've read it, is the growth. How fast did OpenAI's ChatGPT grow compared to Netflix, Facebook? I mean, those numbers are insane. I don't know if James can.
I want to say a week it did 1 million users. That's what I think.
I think I think it's crazier than that, bro.
A day?
I'm telling you, like it was like a 3 or 4 day metric.
All right, so here it is. ChatGPT hit 1 million users in 5 days.
Wow,
that's insane.
And compared to what though? Compared to other platforms?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Because I saw this comparison charts, right? So for unicorn companies to become that unicorn status, we're talking about, okay, how long did it take Facebook to get 1 million users? Yes. I mean, the numbers are insane, dude.
I mean, it's been, and it still continues to grow, obviously now. So some of the cooler things I think about specifically, OpenAI, which is the company that created ChatGPT, is they didn't just come out with the tech, and obviously they're improving it, but they also came out with developer-friendly APIs, which allow people like Saj and I to not only create AI apps, but also provide these kinds of services for our clients, which again, like we had mentioned, has been a whirlwind of fun, to be honest with you.
Super
crazy.
Insane. Yeah, man, I think that when they launched it in December, it was GPT-2 or GPT 2.5. I can't really remember.
I think it was 2.5 because then it was 2.5 to 3 to 3.5. 4 should be
now it's 4. Yeah, I mean, they're actually phasing 3.5 out now. You can only access GPT-4 if you're a paid member, which I have been using for the last 3 months, or 2 months rather. And GPT-4 is the most advanced version, and they're about to phase that out, and they're going to upgrade their APIs to GPT-4. No, go ahead.
So it says here, ChatGPT reached 1 million users 250 times faster than Netflix did.
Yeah.
So
insane.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it's something. If that's insane, actually, compared to Netflix.
Times. I mean,
so it's
I'm
like
trying to
5
do the
days.
math.
That's 100 times is 500 days.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
for Netflix to get to
like
1 million users is
3
probably.
years
And
almost.
Netflix is one of the most popular
Mhm.
streaming platforms, I would say,
Yeah.
out for
Yes,
years.
undoubtedly.
So
Yeah, I mean, dude, the numbers are astronomical, and yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, now ChatGPT, OpenAI, right, has also kind of led the way in regards to AI as an overarching kind of technology. Because now we're in a place that you have ChatGPT, which is really an LLM, right? And we'll go more into that.
Yeah, well,
the image generation, right? Text to video should be coming soon. Saj and I are like almost jumping out of our chairs for that. Really looking forward to it. I mean, it's just it's crazy.
I mean, what is AI technology? I guess like what is the purpose of AI technology? What do you think?
Well, what is it? Obviously, AI meaning artificial intelligence, but I think its best use case, more of a general concept, is really to make things a little bit more efficient, or a lot more efficient. That comes from a time standpoint, but then also just like a knowledge base as well, being able to complete tasks that normally would take you an hour in 2 minutes. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good summary of it. Yeah, I think for the course of understanding if anybody's listening to us and has no idea of how high level it is, I mean, it would blow your mind once you go down the rabbit hole. But just kind of covering fundamentals. So within AI technology, there's different levels of AI, and one of the biggest things that we're dealing with right now, when it comes to image generation, text generation, has to do with the foundation of something called LLMs, which is large language models. And it could be very, very complex for people to understand. So ChatGPT is based out of an LLM.
Correct.
Their sister branch, I wouldn't even say company, it's the same company. OpenAI owns something called Dall-E. Now it's Dall-E 2, DALL-E 2, which is an text to image generation technology. Basically, you will write something like
tiger eating deer.
I mean, that's light work. But like, how about a tiger eating deer on top of a UFO floating in the middle of the Taj Mahal skyline? And that can possibly do that, right? It's something bizarre and insane. But I mean, I don't know what you do with that image. So what was fascinating to me about LLMs is the concept about how it works.
Yes.
And essentially, the way so this is for anybody, and not to demean or disregard people or just think that people don't understand how it is, but if you don't, and I'm going to make it super simple. What a large language model and how ChatGPT works is an LLM. Basically, the way it works is, imagine you've got a friend who is so smart and so intelligent, who reads books every single day, maybe finishes like 40, 50 books a year, and maybe that's light for him. And his knowledge and depth of knowledge, his understanding on politics, the world, high-level topics, intellectual topics, where anytime you ask him anything, he can it's almost annoying that he can have the answer for it. And he's that crazy friend that is going to be your ultimate resource pool. He's the guy that you call when you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and you have that guy who's the phone a friend guy who can give you that answer within 30 seconds.
I like that.
ChatGPT and LLMs, they're that super smart friend. That's the easiest way to understand. And the way it works from a logic perspective, now let's take it one step further, is how did your friend learn all that? He was fed all that information. He was feeding himself all that information for year on year.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the developers behind OpenAI did.
Yes.
They fed a computer program. They created a computer program and fed it a plethora of information. I'm talking trillions of different data points. Like, for example, all the 100 million books that are available in the market, 100 billion articles that are available in the market, on Google, on every search engine, on every database. It feeds it that, and it tags and categorizes what that data point is. So now when the code scripts are basically written, it says when a user is asking something like this, you're going to access X, Y, and Z data point.
Yeah. I mean, and also what makes it very, very unique, and it's not like, let's say, those chatbots that we had 2-3 years ago, is it's trained to understand patterns and then be able to predict those patterns. And that's kind of where it's taken to the next level.
So that's exactly how what you just said is perfect, because that's exactly how Dall-E 2 or Midjourney or Runway, all these big AI image generating companies right now, or softwares right now that exist, is based on that. It's a learning pattern.
Yeah.
So when I learned how Dall-E or Midjourney works, it blew my mind. Basically, it's the same thing that I just explained, which is large language model, and it's the same foundation, but hundreds of thousands of tagged images, or millions or billions of tagged images with, like, let's say you're looking at an image of this logo. There's several elements in this image. There's a gray background on the wall. There's a yellow neon light. There are leaves that are green. All these things are tagged in the image metadata. So when you're feeding it into the computer, and we're talking about billions of images, the computer now knows what a green leaf looks like.
Right.
The computer now knows what a yellow gold neon looks like in front of a gray background. And now, again, the code and the scripts and the algorithms have trained this model to be able to design, let's say design a white background with a blue neon with some leaves around it, because it has been trained what it looks like and knows what it should design and create. And I mean, now we're talking about that being so high level. So understanding that, dude, blew my mind. It was so cool.
I mean, the technology is just so cool, man. It really is. I mean, and so with all that being said, right, so we have with the platforms, right, you had mentioned quite a few, right? Dall-E, Runway, Journey, obviously ChatGPT. Any other ones you think you should add?
I mean, these are the major ones. There's plenty of other companies that are adapting. I mean, let's address the elephant in the room here. We have Google. We talked about Lambda last year, and Lambda was so just like how ChatGPT, the parent company or organization, is OpenAI for Google, Lambda is the OpenAI, and there are sub companies like ChatGPT that they're releasing called Bard and Palm, and those are actually Google's versions of it. And ChatGPT actually partnered with Microsoft. We should note that.
Yes,
Microsoft and search
engine, biggest investor by a mile.
Bing has GPT-4 installed in it now on the search engine, and then Google is obviously the biggest competitor in that scene,
without a doubt.
They have their own large language model, which is Palm, Lambda, Bard, everything that I said. Other than that, I don't think there's actually, by now, there's probably over like 200-300 companies that are competing in this space.
Yeah.
Because there's
so much. It's a race. It's a race, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think is going to happen over the next, let's say, 6 months, with regards to, let's say, competition, the tech overall? What do you think?
Over the next 6 months, what's going to happen? I mean, man, we're talking about, for OpenAI, I think we're going to start seeing GPT-5 going. I mean, by the time the year is over, we're probably going to be at an evolved GPT-X version of like GPT-9, and it's going to be some of the most insane advanced things. I mean, think about the world where we are right now. Imagine you are back in the day where the big cell phones are still a thing, and then finally your dad brings in the Siemens or the Nokia that has a little snake game on your phone. And that's where we are right now. Believe it or not, we're in the BlackBerry phase.
Yeah.
We're in the infancy of AI technology.
Yep.
Where we're going to be, I mean, we're talking about smartphones, holographic images. I mean, that's what it's going to look like, man, when we are
That's a good comparison.
done.
It's a good comparison. I think the biggest integration that has yet to happen on a lot of these models is the integration of real-time data. Right. So for those of you that don't know, ChatGPT currently only has data up until 2021.
Bard has real-time data.
It does. Exactly that. So, but now also something to know, Bard isn't really out yet much. Right. So, the Saj and I
It's in beta right now.
Yeah, Saj and I are kind of on the waiting list.
No, I'm in
very anxious.
I'm in the beta program right now.
I'm saying for the APIs,
the developer API
we're on the waiting list, and we're anxiously waiting for that. But I think, again, Bard's in beta, so it's not anything public. But I think that for me is going to be a big
game changer,
milestone, because now you're in a place where, I mean, what limitations do we really have at this point?
Mm-hmm.
You can find out anything you want, whether it's information, steps, analysis, predictions, at a snap of a finger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I've done extensive work on Bard, and I've done extensive work on GPT, and I use it every single day, and I can tell you that GPT is far more advanced.
Yes,
I think Google's lagging a little bit, and
they know that.
But here's the thing, man. Let me leave you with this comparison and think about it for a second. We're all iPhone people, right? I mean, most of the people in the United States, everybody in this room's got an iPhone. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
James?
Yes.
You got an iPhone?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, think about this. Every time Apple comes out with a dope feature for the next iPhone, right? Samsung, Google, Android, they've already released that feature 3 years ago when they do comparisons. Think about that. They have fucking billboards of those ads where Google is shitting on Apple. Like, I'm not kidding.
I know. There's a lot of commercials.
Saying, you guys just released, 15 megapixels? We've done that in 2017. Dude, Google is eons ahead. And some might even say that Google might be taking the perfect approach.
Waiting for them to make some mistakes along the way, kind of thing?
Not necessarily, learning from their mistakes.
Yes.
And implementing into their system to create the perfect product.
Yep.
Because we all know what happens when Google goes full send. And I think like that's definitely what's going to happen. Because right now I can tell you at its current state, Bard is kind of ass. and GPT is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I like what you said. I think that's what's happening. Could very well be possible. There would definitely be like a chess type of move.
Yeah.
But let's talk more about the predictions, though. I want a clear cut prediction in 6 months. What you think is going to happen, where you think we'll be. Like for me, I think over the next 6 months, we're going to start to actually see AI like replace some jobs. That's what I think. I think that's also one of the next big milestones. Whatever kind of job that is, not sure.
Deep topic, but yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's for the better though. And I think a lot of jobs are inefficient. A lot of jobs can be done better.
Yes.
And I think people should stop fearing how AI is going to replace their jobs, and they should start thinking about how can I utilize this to do my job better.
Exactly that.
And be more valuable. And I mean, this is it, man. You can't be that 60-year-old uncle who's always complaining at the party about, their job and like how everything sucks and how life is shitty.
Junior, back in my day, I used to go to the candy shop and buy a chocolate bar for a nickel.
Yes, that's a really good idea. What I was trying to say, but yeah, man. I mean, you just gotta hop on the train.
Embrace it. Don't be
it.
fearful. Be in a place where it's like, okay, you know what? Here it is. Let me learn it, and how can I do it better now? Even for the. So here's a cool thing actually.
Okay.
There's people out there. There's CEOs out there, leaders of the company that said, do not use this. Do not use AI. No, I'm saying there are founders out there that are saying don't use AI. On the other side, there's founders that are saying use it, get to know it, let me know what you think. How can we get better? I think two ends of the spectrum here. So I think that would be a cool dynamic to kind of look back at, and especially for those people that said they're not going to use it. You'll get in trouble. And even for schools, man, look at schools. Imagine if I was going to school right now, ChatGPT would be my best friend. I wouldn't have any other friends. I mean, I'd be doing everything on that thing.
I was with my wife's family last month during Ramadan, and at the dinner party with the kids, when I was hanging out with all the cousins some of them are in college, bro. They were literally, I'm sitting in the back and I'm just listening, and they're literally asking each other, yo, did you use GPT-3 for your essay? How did that go? I'm just sitting there, bro, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, wow, man, this is the world we live in. Embrace it. Teachers,
how could you
educators,
not?
Everybody embrace it. What are you going to stop us for using something that's free? Adapt. Fix your education system.
That's a larger topic,
right.
which I completely agree. I mean,
But I forgot to mention something, actually. When you were asking about new technology, something that is super duper duper notable, and I don't know when this episode goes on, and I hope that this is of some value. Check out Adobe Firefly. Have you used it?
I haven't used it, but
I mean, our team is using it.
I have a brief understanding. What do you mean?
Dude,
Who's using it?
Kat and the design team.
No.
Dude, they're using it.
What is it?
It's insane.
Well, how are they using it?
Well, I got into the beta program. I signed up for all the betas.
Oh, yeah.
I got into the beta program. They gave me access. And then once I have access, I basically got a version for the team to connect it to our company account.
Mm-hmm.
And they are ripping it for so many of our project designs. It's insane. It's a AI image gen, but it also has AI textualized word gen, which is like insane. I can't really explain it really well.
That makes sense, bro.
But
when I was looking at some of the designs, bro, the other day, I was looking at some of them. And I read a couple of sides. I was like, wow, that looks and sounds pretty good. I'm like, let's go.
Lights out.
Wow.
I think it's better in a lot of ways than Dall-E. I'm not kidding. It's better in a lot of ways than Midjourney. Midjourney, dude, I got to show you this, Jack. It's going to blow your fucking mind. David, maybe you can pull up some visuals of what we're talking about, like Dall-E, Midjourney, and Adobe Firefly comparisons maybe in front of us. I think that's going to be super cool. But I forgot to mention that.
I mean, that's great. I mean, again, that goes to show that we're in a place where we're using the tech to make the product and our lives much, much easier. And I think that's kind of where you should be, to be honest with you. So, as we kind of start to wrap up this segment, some closing thoughts from me. With AI, although some might say or feel as if it's not good, it has to be controlled. I do think that there should be some sort of regulation about it. What that is, I have no idea. I think we're too new in the industry to even understand what would be good regulation. But right now, take advantage of the options that are available to you. Use them to learn, use them to understand, use them to get better at some of the things that you do. But then also use it as your assistant to get some monotonous tasks completed very, very quickly. And I think AI will change the world as we know it. And I think we're probably about 6 months to a year from that.
Yeah. Sign us off, champ.
Oh, you don't have that's it for you?
Hey, man. That's it.
Well,
we dropped some gems here.
With that, okay. So, as always, wherever you are, my friends, we hope that you enjoy the day. Hope you enjoy the night. And we will see you very, very soon. God bless.
Yeah, venture hustles, life is really what you make it. Building up your brand is whatever you create it. Really ain't no limit. You just gotta love it. Working day and night, it's all about the venture hustle. Hey, venture hustles. Time to take it to the next level. Let's go.